Good morning, friends. Let's sing a song together, shall we? Out of the Teal Hymn Book, hymn number 1068, Rising Green. I invite you to rise in body and our soul. If you're joining us online, you can find the lyrics posted in the chat. The lyrics will also be projected up on the screen, which will give you an opportunity to look at someone else and smile while you're singing. I know, singing and smiling at the same time. Is it possible? My blood doth rise in the roots of yon oak. Her sap doth run in my veins. Boundless my soul like the open sky, where the stars forever have lain. Where the stars, where the stars, where the stars forever have lain. My hands hold the weavings of time without end. My side as deep as the sea. Beating my heart sounds the measures of old, that of love's eternity. That of love, that of love, that of love's eternity. I feel the tides as they answer the moon, rushing on as far distant sand. Winging my song is the wind of my breast, and my love blows over the land. And my love, and my love, and my love blows over the land. My foot carries days of the old into new. Our dreaming shows us the way. Wondrous our faith settles deep in the earth, rising green to bring a new day. Rising green, rising green, rising green to bring a new day. Thank you. You sound great.
Good morning. Welcome to the Olympia Unitarian Universalist congregation. Our community envisions an interconnected world that is loving, just, and healthy. We commit to live out our mission to welcome and wonder, embrace and empower, bridge and become. Thank you for joining us today. You are welcome here just as you are. Whatever beliefs sustain you, whomever you love, however you understand and express your identity. And in all ways, you are still becoming the person you will be. My name is Ann Radford. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a member of the worship arts team. Leading worship with me today is our minister, Reverend Mary Geer, Sarah Lewis, our Director of Community and Faith Development, and Troy Fisher, our Music Director. Here are a few things you should know about our service today. We are streaming live on Zoom and YouTube, and the service is being recorded. For those here in the sanctuary, you can see the sometimes creative subtitles on the screen in front, and on Zoom if you're online. Over here, we have fluffy chairs and activities so your hands can be comfortable. We are a multi-generational community and we value our young ones. Kids, babies, and teens are all welcome in the sanctuary. There's also nursery care and a storytime program for children in the classroom wing. We're grateful for the many hands that have helped make worship happen this morning. Thank you to all who contribute in so many ways. After the service, everyone will have a chance to discuss reflection questions offered by Reverend Mary. For those online, we invite you into a breakout room for a virtual coffee chat. For those in person, please stay for coffee and conversation in the Commons. At 11:30 after the coffee chat, please return to the main room or the sanctuary for a discussion with the OUUC Board of Trustees about the role of the board and the minister. Now, a special announcement. Come enjoy a weekend with Emmy award-winning folk singer and guitarist Carrie Newcomer. Carrie will be here at OUUC on Saturday, February 10th, for a workshop and concert. Then she will lead our worship service the next day. In the workshop on Saturday from 10 to 1, Carrie will use music, poetry, reflective writing, conversation to explore what keeps us resilient and hopeful as we work to build a kinder and more just world. Pianist Gary Walters joins Carrie for the concert at 7 p.m. Saturday night. Both events are in person only, right here in our sanctuary, and open to all. Get your tickets online through Eventbrite or contact OUUC member Liz Clement. There are many things happening at OUUC. Check the Tuesday electronic update or the website for the latest information. Now let us open our hearts and minds as we prepare for worship. It is good to be together. This morning, we join Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world in lighting a chalice, the symbol of our faith tradition. If you're online and you have a chalice or candle, please join me as we light our chalices together with the words from Deborah Falk. The chalice is a symbol. A chalice lit in our midst is a symbol of our liberal faith, a faith built on the foundation of freedom, reason, and tolerance, a faith sustained by acts of kindness and justice, a faith that visions a world flourishing with equality for all her people, a faith that demands living out of goodness, a faith that requires thoughtfulness, a faith of wholeness. This tiny flame is the symbol of the spark of all this within each of us.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Reverend Mary, and I use she, her pronouns. I am a white older woman with brown and silver hair. Today I'm wearing glasses, a black dress, a chalice necklace, and a bright yellow stole that says, "Side with Love." Our opening words this morning are titled In Faith by the Reverend Sunshine Jeremiah Wolf. This is a congregation that gathers in faith, not faith in one religion or God or any one way. We gather in faith of the power of diversity, the power of love, and the hope of a world transformed by our care. We gather in faith in ourselves and those around us, not a faith that requires perfection or rightness in one another. Rather, a faith that in our shared imperfection, we may learn to stumble and fall together. Faith that we will help one another to rise and to try again and again. We are Unitarian Universalists. Come, let us worship together.
And let's sing together again. We started the month out, way back at the beginning of January, by singing this Hungarian prayer, and you're getting pretty good at it. And it's a great song about faith, hope, and love. And I thought we should do it one more time. And so the words will appear up here with a phonetic. If you just read it phonetically, you'll be in the money. We'll sing it once in Hungarian, and then we'll sing it in English. It's on page 1043 in the Till Hymn Book if you want to be in there. And then once we've done each of them, you can choose and we'll do them together. Choose whether you do the Hungarian or the English, and smile and have fun. I invite you to rise and let's sing together. Hit ad szeretet, ad békét, al béké ad áldás, al áldás ad Isten ad szükség nincsen. Good. Where there is faith, there is love. Where there is love, there is peace. Where there is peace, there is blessing. Where there is blessing, there is God. Where there is God, there is no need. Do you want Carbon to project Hungarian or English? Hungarian's been requested. Here we go. Where there is faith, there is love. Where there is love, there is peace. Where there is peace, there is blessing. Where there is blessing, there is God. Where there is God, there is no need. You're brilliant. Thank you.
You are brilliant. So long ago, in the early days of the earth and the sun had lots of energy. They were young and vibrant, and they just frolicked and played all day long, and the days were long. Now, back in that early time, the earth had many names. Some called her goddess, some called her maiden or sister. No one called her grandmother yet, because she was still in her young days. And the earth and the sun would have so much energy. They frolicked, they played, they went long and hard. But also, as the earth began to mature, she realized that there was work to do too. And so when she got up early every day with the sun, she also went about her work of making the flowers bloom, helping the trees to grow, helping make nests and burrows for all of the animal friends. She had many animal friends, but one special friend was the red bird, the cardinal. The cardinal loved to get up early also with the earth and the sun, and loved to sing. So the cardinal would get up and sing as the sun came up in the morning, and would sing as the sun went down at night, and would fly around and frolic and play with this young and energetic earth and sun. Well, the earth and the sun were settling into a bit of a routine. They were entering the middle years of their lives together, and the cardinal also wanted to settle down. And he did. He found a mate, another cardinal, and together they built a nest and laid eggs. Well, she did. And then they watched together as the eggs hatched, and out came baby birds. And the earth came to celebrate this and to admire the babies and bring them each the gift of a fat caterpillar to eat. Well, life was good They continued to get up early every day, to sing, to frolic, to work hard. But it seemed as though perhaps the earth and the sun were slowing down a little bit. Well, in fact, things were getting perhaps just a hint of a little bit colder. Perhaps the sun wasn't burning quite so hot. Some leaves from the big trees with the big flat leaves, they started to fall. It seemed that while the bird got up to sing at the beginning of day and sing at the end of day too, that those songs were getting closer together as the days grew shorter. The cardinal was concerned and flew to visit the earth and encourage her back into her energetic ways. "Oh, don't worry, Redbird," the earth said. "No, you can't always go on playing hard and working hard forever and ever without a break. It's all part of the cycle. Don't worry." Well, thought the Redbird, it was all very well and good for the earth to say, "Don't worry," but as the days were getting shorter and colder, well, how was he to find food to get through these days? So the earth came with a gift for the cardinal family. She arrived with some great big trees in her arms and set them down. "Look," she said, "I've brought you a gift. They're called evergreens. Why, as all the other trees lose their leaves, you will still have these trees in to stay warm, to build your nests, and to go through these shorter days." And so the cardinal family made their home in the boughs of the evergreen trees. But things were still getting colder. The earth was slowing down a lot, and now the Redbird was also worried about the sun. Why, the sun was just getting dimmer and dimmer. The days were shorter and shorter. There was a rumor going around that the sun might even be dying. The bird went to the earth and asked. "Well, in a way, yes," she said. The sun this year will have to come to an end. But don't worry, little bird, it's all part of the cycle. Why, even as each year comes to an end, a new year will be born, a new sun will be born." The bird wasn't so sure. And then one day, in fact, it happened. The sun died. It was the shortest of all days. And the bird flew to find the earth. They found her sleeping under a great pile of silvery, frosty blankets in a deep slumber. And they noticed that her belly had grown quite large. Why, she was pregnant with a new year, and yet she was asleep. What would happen? The birds sang to her. They waited. They brought pine cones and snowflakes. They flew up and grabbed some stars and brought them down to form a twinkly light garland. And they sat through that longest of all nights. And they sang. And then, in the darkness, they heard it, the cry of a new baby. Why, the sun had been reborn. A new year would begin again. It truly was all part of the cycle. Thus ends our story.
Each Sunday, we engage in the spiritual practice of generosity and gratitude by joining together in service to our community and to something greater than ourselves. We each have the power to share, and when we combine our gifts to create an offering, we are able to do more than we can do alone. We also express our gratitude for the gifts that life has given us, the network of relationships in which we live, and for the presence of this community. If you are new or visiting us for the first or second time, you are our guest, and we don't expect you to contribute. However, if you are moved to be part of our offering, what you share will be gratefully received. The offering collected here does two things. It helps support the ongoing work of this congregation, which is also supported by your regular pledges. This offering also supports an organization that serves our community in harmony with our Unitarian Universalist values. Our Share the Plate organization for this month is the Medical Equipment Bank. The mission of the Medical Equipment Bank is to receive donated medical equipment, supplies, and provide them to seniors, their families, and individuals with disabilities who cannot afford to purchase them on their own. This is what they share about their work.
Hi, OUUC. My name is Sabrina Pullen, and I am affiliated with the Thurston County Medical Equipment Bank. I just would like to start out by saying thank you so much. We are so happy that we were the recipient of the Share the Plate this year. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about how I got started. I attended a board meeting, but I was actively involved as a Hi, OUUC. My name is Sabrina Pullen, and I am affiliated with the Thurston County Medical Equipment Bank. I just would like to start out by saying Hi, OUUC. My name is Sabrina Pullen, and I am affiliated with the Thurston County Medical Equipment Bank. I just would like to start out by saying thank you so much. We are so happy that we were the recipient of the Share the Plate this year. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about how I got started. I attended a board meeting, but I was actively involved as a volunteer, and then I became actively involved as a board member and now as a grant writer. So, but we had family members that used the Medical Equipment Bank, and it was an incredibly valuable service. It's actually been referred to as an essential service, and I couldn't agree more, because we have people coming in all the time that are telling us how we have changed their lives, how they have benefit, and how they couldn't do it without the resources that we provide. And we are now actually becoming more sustainable. We're coming bigger. We're getting our name out there. And that is by the help and the assistance of people like your congregation, but also we have changed our location from where we have been for 14 years, and it's been the best thing ever. We stayed there for the longest time in the basement of a funeral home because the people that were there were friends of our president, and it was rent-free, but it was the best thing ever. We have changed our location to 3537 Martin Way, which is centrally located, and we are close to the medical community. We are close to both Olympia and Lacey and Tumwater, and we are able to provide more services, more hours, more volunteers, and just wonderful and positive things are happening all the way around. And so it's just wonderful that we can partner with your congregation and get our name out there. One of the biggest things that we plan on doing with the grant is creating a social platform and creating more exposure such that people can know and see that we're there. And I would just like to thank you again. I look forward to inviting you to come, and I look forward to anyone stopping by and seeing what we're about. Thank you so much.
This organization is under the umbrella of the Thurston County Council on Aging, also the publisher of Senior News that provides over 18,000 publications a month to Thurston, Mason, and Lewis counties. The Medical Equipment Bank is completely supported by volunteers, donated equipment, supplies, grants, and cash donations. Donations of any kind are gratefully accepted as a way to pay it forward. May the offering now be generously given as it is gratefully received.
Thank you so much for your generous gifts and all the ways that you share them. We come together this morning bringing all that is in our hearts and in our lives. Let's open our hearts to the complexity of life as we place stones in the water of community. You will hear a drumbeat as we share today. It brings into our awareness that our individual hearts beat, and together we create the heartbeat of our community. So right now, let's just take a deep breath together. Just pause and breathe. And let's open our hearts to receive the complexity of all that is in our lives and our community today. For those joining us online today, I invite you to share from your heart by entering in the chat. We'll be able to see your sharing on the screen in the sanctuary. And for those in person today, I invite you to come forward if there's something you'd like to bring into community. You may place a stone in the water as you hold your sharing in your heart. And it works best if we come up by the side aisle and return by the center aisle. Let's hear the heartbeat of our community as we reach out our hearts in love and care to all those who share today. We'll place a stone in the water for all that has been shared online, shared from the heart. And one more stone placed in the water for all that we hold in our hearts today and that remains unspoken. Please be in whatever way is comfortable for you for prayer and meditation. These are the words of the Reverend Paul Beatty. May our lives be blessed according to the depth of our love, the persistence of our faith, our willingness to forgive and be compassionate, and in proportion to our yearning to be free. Amen. Let's be in silence together.
Today's first reading is an excerpt from Faith Without Certainty, Liberal Theology in the 21st Century by Paul Razor. Liberal theology is not for the faint of heart. It points us in a general direction without telling us the specific destination. It refuses to make our commitments for us, but holds us accountable for those commitments. The liberal religious tradition is an invitation, not a mandate. It invites us to live with ambiguity without giving in to facile compromise, to engage in dialogue without trying to control the conversation, to be open to change but not blindly, to be engaged in the culture without succumbing to the culture's values. Liberal religion calls us to strength without rigidity, conviction without ideology, openness without laziness. It asks us to pay attention. It is an eyes wide open faith, a faith without certainty.
This is a question that somebody asked me not long ago. So, Reverend Mary, what do you mean when you say we are a faith community? I get the community part. It's the faith part that I'm having a little bit of a struggle with. So, faith is one of those churchy words, right? It's a part of religious language that some of us might be uncomfortable with. The person who asked me that question was struggling with what faith might mean in a congregation and in a denomination that doesn't have a creed. What does it mean to have faith? And what do we have faith in if we don't believe in God or a prescribed set of beliefs? So the most common way to define faith is just that, a belief in God or a deity or a belief in a set of ideals or tenets, a creed. And that's one form of faith, faith as belief. In his book, Heretics' Faith, Vocabulary for Religious Liberals, Unitarian Universalist minister Frederick John Muir writes that some religious leaders suggest that we must have faith despite any evidence to the contrary, that faith is acceptance of hard-to-believe things, that faith is blind obedience to authority, that some believe that with faith we can find certainty, perhaps even strength. And this definition of faith suggests that we just open our hearts and we bypass our heads. And that puts faith and reason in competition with each other as opposing forces. Sound familiar? Now, faith and reason are a hot topic for theologians because both are seen as a way to define and know God. The divine, that which is greater than us, however it is you want to name that. Some theologians say that faith and reason are a paradox or a contradiction, that one is more important than the other. And some say we can only know God through an open heart and with faith. Others say we can only know God with our reason. From our Unitarian heritage, we have tended to place reason above faith, with the head as more important than the heart. And in more recent years, we have embraced our Universalist heritage of love, dignity, and the worthiness of all. And I think it's interesting that neither word, faith nor reason, is used in the current Unitarian Universalist 7 principles or in the proposed UU core values. Instead, we tend to speak of spirituality, searching for truth and meaning, support, democracy, and justice. Yet in Unitarian Universalism, there is a recognition that the head and the heart are both important. Faith and reason are complementary, not in competition. They are connected in one body, after all. And it's not just in our bodies. The strands of our heritage and our theology also connect our heads and our hearts. In fact, Unitarian Universalist minister Paul Razor, author of today's reading, writes that doubt is a very important part of faith, that faith should never be free from doubt. Razor asserts that, quote, religious liberalism has always, to some extent, involved faith without certainty. Now, I want to be clear about the term liberal in this context, especially in this election year. When we say liberal, neither Reverend Razor nor I are talking about politics, not Democrats or Republicans or any other political context or political construct. When we say liberal, we are referring to the pure meaning of the word. Liberal as in open to new ideas and acknowledging that things change as people and times change. This is in contrast to the meaning of conservative, which means based on tradition, interpreted through the past, and averse to change. So a liberal religion is one that is open to new ideas and expects change. A conservative religion is one that is based on tradition and resists change. A very practical example of the difference between liberal and conservative religion is the use and the interpretation of sacred texts like the Bible. A conservative religion says that the Bible is the literal word of God and needs no interpretation from humans. It should be read in concrete terms, and the message will be clear. Liberal religion says that sacred texts like the Bible are to be read and interpreted in the context of the times, and that we can expect our interpretation of the text to change as we humans change. Liberal religion questions the source of the biblical writings, investigates and interrogates how it was created and by who, asking whose writings were included in the Bible and whose writings were left out. And liberal religion reads sacred text as story and metaphor rather than literally. So Unitarian Universalism is a liberal religion with a liberal theology. And faith in a liberal religion is inherently uncertain because of openness, change, and doubt. So questioning and doubt are simply part of our theology and our practice. Questioning and doubt are part of our faith. We embrace the idea so nicely written by liberation theologist Dorothy Soule. Faith without doubt is not stronger. It is simply more ideological. We do not hold tight to ideology. We hold tight to each other as we journey together. A second definition of faith is having trust or confidence in someone or something. Faith comes from the Latin fidere, which means trust. We hear faith in the music that the choir sung so beautifully today. Faith is a bird that feels the light and sings when the dawn is dark. We hear faith in Reverend Sarah's story of the redbird waiting for the return of the sun. When faith is approached this way, I think it's fair to say that everyone has faith, faith in something or someone. Despite the uncertainty and doubt, we all have beliefs and trusts. It might be trusting ourselves or a loved one. It might be belief in a higher power by whatever name you call it. It might be trusting the universe, the rising of the sun, or the power of community. I have faith in the resilience of natural ecosystems, in the power of community, in the strength of the human heart, and in the presence of love. What do you have faith in?
Our second reading is Nada de Turbe, or don't despair. By Reverend Susan Manker Seal from the book Voices from the Margins. Faith doesn't mean believing in God. Faith means having trust in your sense of rightness of the universe. Hope is clinging to that trust in the direst of circumstances. Love is deciding to care for this world no matter what horrors come our way. Thus, we keep despair at bay. And when we add a daily dose of laughter, we're on our road to healing.
This month, our spiritual theme has been love. I've invited us to reflect on the three gifts of the Spirit identified by the Apostle Paul in 1 Corinthians: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love. Earlier this month, I spoke about how the proposed Unitarian Universalist core values put love at the center, that capital L love that transcends our individual and collective identities. I said that love is a spiritual practice that we regularly fail at and continue to believe in, so we try and try again. I spoke of the spiritual practice of hope and how it comes from uncertainty and the promise of possibility. And so faith is also a spiritual practice. Like love, something that we regularly fail at, and like hope, grounded in uncertainty. So what exactly does it mean to be a faith community? Well, I think it's important to regularly ask a question about our purpose, and especially now that we are in the midst of incredible change at a global level. Why are we here? Well, in typical UU fashion, it's a lot easier to say what we are not. Even though we have sermons and reflections, we are not a TED Talk stage. Even though we have music, we are not a performance center. Even though we offer classes, we are not a school or a community college. Even though we feed people, we are not a diner. And even though we help people, we are not a social services agency. Even though we work for justice, we are not the ACLU or the Southern Poverty Law Center or the National Center for Transgender Equality. So what does it mean to be a faith community? Well, I offer this wisdom from the Reverend Sarah Gibb Millspaugh, a Unitarian Universalist minister with the Pacific Western region. Religion is as much about faith in humanity as it is about faith in a deity. And many of us will find that over and over our faith in humanity gets tested. We are immersed in a culture that's deeply corrupted by selfishness, greed, and oppression-born privilege and fear. It's too easy for us to devalue some humans' lives and feel somehow like we're still good, upstanding, moral people. Religion at its best asks us to do better, to rise above the selfishness and status-seeking, the othering and xenophobia that comes so easily in our culture. Religion at its best, and our Unitarian Universalist faith, calls us to honor that which is sacred in each person, even those we might hate, even those who we might find disgusting. It impels us to accept on faith that there is a sacred spark in every person. This can sound mundane, but it's very radical, revolutionary even. And accepting this on faith changes how we live. So this suggests that faith is a continual invitation to practice, to be our best selves, even in a culture that offers a different invitation. A faith community is a place where we are invited to be different, to be our best selves. We will be tested, and we will fail, and we will try again. When we have faith in our core values and principles, it changes us and how we live. This connection of our values and actions is a radical, countercultural way to live. And it is in faith community that we have the support to live in this way. Another controversy related to faith has to do with the debate about faith and works. Among theologians, this debate is even more heated because it's one of the foundations of the Protestant Reformation. Traditional Catholicism said that salvation, that is, being saved from sin, is earned by faith and the things we do. So, in order to be saved, one must both believe in God and the teachings of Jesus and do things like being baptized, attending Mass, taking communion, tithing to the church, and doing charitable work. Salvation is earned by faith and works. The Protestant Reformation challenged this theology, suggesting that salvation comes only from faith alone. Our country, the United States, and Unitarian Universalism both have a lineage from the Protestant Reformation. Now, Unitarian Universalists don't talk a lot about sin and salvation. We tend to hold the view that we create heaven and hell here on earth, and that salvation means working together to make this world, a better place. Although we have a Protestant lineage, we tend to say that salvation comes from making the world more just by walking our talk. In Heretics' Faith, Vocabulary for Religious Liberals, Frederick John Muir writes that faith is not complete without works. Faith is both walk and talk. He says that faith as talk is what we believe. We explore, we discern, and we say what we believe. Faith as walk is how we act. We express our faith in how we behave. So Muir notes that some people don't see, they don't realize that what they believe affects how they behave. They are all talk and no walk. Some people who act, even those who act for justice, don't seem grounded or have an understanding of their beliefs. They are all walk and no talk. To me, being a Unitarian Universalist faith community means that we connect action and beliefs, and I would call that faith. After all, our justice programs here are called Faith in Action. We discern our deepest held values and beliefs, and then we act for justice from a place of spiritual grounding. Being part of a liberal religious community means being open to what is in front of us and being willing to change what we believe and how we act based on new ideas and information as we learn and grow as individuals and as a community. Writer Doris Betts said, "Faith is not synonymous with certainty, but it is the decision to keep your eyes wide open." I would say faith is open eyes, open hands, open heart, open to change, open to growth, open to each other. In her essay, The Most Courageous Act, former UUA President Reverend Dr. Susan Frederick Gray wrote this: "When we look at faith not as a set of beliefs, but rather as a source of strength that keeps us holding on to our values when it gets difficult, or a source of hope when we feel lost, we are also talking about courage. Courage. As Paul Razor said in our reading today, liberal religion is not for the faint of heart. We may be pointed in a direction, but we are not shown the way, and we must take the steps ourselves. Unitarian Universalism does not guarantee heaven or salvation or eternal life. What we are offered is a story of how to approach the world and how to approach each other. And we are invited to place our individual story within a larger story. Does this faith tradition help me make sense of my life and my story? Does it give me roots for grounding and wings to fly? Does it offer a way to approach mystery and spirit? Does this faith tradition fit my story? And does my story fit within this faith tradition? And when it does, oh my, it's magical and it's powerful. For then we have faith. We have belief, trust, and belonging. So we gather here, learning and inviting each other to the courageous and radical practice of faith, hope, and love. In this way, we are here because we are a people of faith. Together, we create a faith community. Let's just take a moment of silent reflection together.
Let's join together in singing this beloved hymn, hymn number 123, Spirit of Life. I invite you to rise in body and our spirit. We extinguish our chalice with the words of theologian Reinhold Niebuhr. Nothing worth doing is completed in our lifetime. Therefore, we are saved by hope. Nothing true or beautiful or good makes complete sense in any immediate context of history. Therefore, we are saved by faith. Nothing we do, however virtuous, can be accomplished alone. Therefore, we are saved by love. May you go in peace, go in joy, go in love. Singing